If you want to grow $1 million business, you have to be making $1 million decisions, whether the economy is good or bad. This is the key to small business. We've heard of the rising cost of food, the rising cost of rent, the rising cost of literally everything. Does that mean your business is dead? Does that mean your business is absolutely not going to grow right now, no matter what? Does that mean you shouldn't even try? To think that because a Fortune 500 company is being impacted, that you as a small business owner have to be impacted the same way is just false. Entrepreneurship, if you haven't noticed, is booming. Small businesses are either maintaining their annual revenue or they're actually growing. Are you shocked to hear that? Is it the economy, or are you just making broke-ass decisions?
You want to make more money? You are in the right place. Welcome to the Hello 7 podcast. That's 7 as in 7 figures. I'm your host, Rachel Rodgers.
Hello, and welcome back to the Hello 7 podcast. I'm so excited to be back with you. Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic, something that I think is addressing what is on a lot of people's minds right now, which is the economy. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about, is it the economy that is causing challenges in your business, or are you just making broke-ass decisions? Okay? Let's actually look at both of those things and determine which one might be causing you challenges in your business right now, okay? So in order to dig into this, let's just talk about how, people are feeling right now. I think there's a lot of concern about the economy. We've heard a lot of talk about the economy lately, and sometimes that creates this fear where we sort of manifest problems that may not even exist. So I want to give you a framework to think about your business in these economic times and to be thinking about the kinds of decisions that you are making and to ensure that you are still making $1 million decisions even in this economy. If you want to grow $1 million business, you have to be making $1 million decisions, whether the economy is good or bad. All right? So to start, let's actually dig into the economy. Let's talk about what's going on. So there's a resource for those of you in the US, and I'm sure if you're in a different country, most governments, in a lot of different countries will put out a report about the state of small businesses in that country, right? So the US Chamber of Commerce puts out a state of the union, so to speak, a state of small business. And so I'm pulling from the one from 2023. But these numbers, I think, are very relevant in 2024 as well. And, the economy and what's going on in the economy, it started back in 2023 and we're still experiencing it today. Okay, so let's talk about some of the challenges. Well, first off, entrepreneurship, if you haven't noticed, is booming. Huge amounts of people are starting businesses right now, okay? Over 5 million businesses were started in 2021. And that number continues to grow, right? Every year, more and more millions of people choose to become business owners. They're not doing that for no reason, right? They're doing it because of the amount of opportunity that is available in our post-COVID world, post-pandemic world. So there are tons of new e-commerce retailers that are being created. A lot of people are turning their ideas and hobbies into small businesses, and professional services is growing rapidly as well. So we know that entrepreneurship is booming right now. But should it be, right? Let's talk about it. Because while there are always, over the last, I would say even decade, there are more and more small businesses being created every year. And we know that a lot of those businesses are being started by women. A huge number of those businesses are being started by women of color, right? So women of color are the fastest growing segment of new small business owners every year, right? For the past few years. And so we know that there are a lot of new businesses being created, but are they making any money? And are they making any real money? So that is part of the issue, right? We don't want to just have a business to say we have a business, because a business that doesn't make profit is just a very expensive hobby, okay? That is eating up all of your vacation money and your savings and the money you'd be using for other things to improve your life, right? So we don't need an expensive hobby. What we need is businesses that actually turn a significant profit, all right? So let's talk about some of the things that might be going on in the economy right now that could be affecting your business. The first one, and the one that I know you've heard talked about the most, is inflation, right? Inflation is something that we've heard all about the gas prices. We've heard about, the rising cost of food, the rising cost of rent, the rising cost of literally everything. Okay. So inflation is definitely happening. That is 100% true. And it, of course, is affecting small businesses because, the expenses that you have, the cost of labor, right? The cost of the materials you might need to grow your business, the cost of rent for your office or your retail space, all of those things, if those costs are going up, that is impacting your bottom line, and there may be less profit available because those costs are going up. So what is the potential solution for that? Well, obviously, if your costs are going up, you're probably going to have to raise your prices. I know it's the most terrifying thing ever for small business owners, but trust me, sometimes you have no choice but to raise your price and to go find the customer that is happy to pay that new price that allows you to have a healthy profit built in. If you are selling your services and making just enough to just keep going, but no profit is built in, you're definitely going to hit a wall at some point and really struggle to keep your business afloat. And of course, you won't be enjoying the benefits of being a business owner. So that's not going to work for us, right? So, okay, inflation, that's 100% real. It's happening. Access to capital is also on a decline. Well, first of all, I'm a Black woman, so I feel like I never had good access to capital. So, it declining is kind of like, well, what's, if I had zero access to capital, if it's down 50%, that's just still zero. So it's not really a problem. But it is true that small businesses definitely have a perceived less access to capital, right? So that's what this report says. It says that the perception is that there is less access to capital for small businesses right now. 70% of small businesses believed that they had access to capital previously. Now it's down to 50%. So that is really just belief. It doesn't mean that it's absolutely true. I do, in fact, think it is true, though. If you are a person of color, if you're from a historically excluded identity, then your chances of, getting an investor or getting, a small business loan are definitely significantly lower than a white man, right? A straight white man. That's just the truth of the matter. So we know that's true. So there's less access to capital, which means, you got less money to work with. If you want to invest in something, if you want to grow your business, getting access to that money to be able to do so is more challenging in the environment that we're in right now, which definitely impacts things. There are times where you might need to take out a loan to buy inventory. You might need to take out a loan to be able to hire somebody new. Maybe there's a big investment that you want to make in the business to grow the business, like you want to invest in marketing or Facebook ads or something like that, and you want capital to do so. So the lower access to capital is something that is real and that is happening in this economy. Okay. Again, not necessarily something new for people of historically excluded identities. And lastly, one of the things that this report shares is that small business owners are working harder. So small business owners are finding themselves working longer hours, working more than they used to a few years ago. So maybe you previously had a team that was doing a lot of the work and maybe part of that team has left, right? Or you can't replace some of the people who left in the past, or you're trying to keep your costs low. And so you're not doing a lot of hiring right now. And therefore you have more work. And that is definitely a real thing. It is definitely something that can slow down the growth of your business. If you are doing a lot of the jobs that other people should be doing, and that means you're not doing your CEO job, which is to grow the business, is to cast the vision and drive the business towards its next goals. That takes time and effort and energy too. And if you don't have the time to do that, right, and you're busy doing the work that you would normally pay someone else to do, that is definitely going to slow you down as well. So that's what this report shares that's going on for small business owners right now. They are reporting that over half of small business owners are saying that they are working more hours now than they were a few years ago, okay? So all of that is true, right? There's inflation, there is less access to capital, and you might have to work longer hours right now. So that's what's happening in the economy at the moment. Does that mean your business is dead? Does that mean your business is absolutely not going to grow right now, no matter what? Does that mean you shouldn't even try? I don't think so. And in fact, I want to share a stat with you, or just a piece of information that I have access to. So I have a friend who has a company that provides merchant account services, right? So we all, take credit cards for our companies. And so that's called a merchant account. And my friend runs a merchant account service. And so he sees the back end of literally tens of thousands of small businesses, and he can see the actual numbers every month. What are they actually earning? What are their annual earnings looking like? And so I asked him, I said, what are you seeing? Are you seeing that small businesses are on a decline? Are you seeing that small businesses are seriously struggling and that, revenue is down for most small business owners? And he said, absolutely not. In fact, what I'm seeing is small businesses are either maintaining their annual revenue or they're actually growing. Are you shocked to hear that? Yes, even in this economy and even in this environment, so many small businesses, and in fact, the majority of the businesses that he is seeing, and he's seeing tens of thousands of small businesses, their actual numbers, not the numbers that they're saying on social media, right? Like not the marketing ploy numbers or whatever. These are the actual real numbers of, how much money these companies are collecting through their merchant account every month. And he's saying he's seeing that these companies are making just as much as they were previously making, if not growing. And why is that? Because we are not Amazon and we are not Apple and we are not Microsoft, right? So when you're a small business, you only need 100 customers, 1,000 customers. The number of customers you need to be successful and to grow your company is relatively small. Whereas Apple, right, is going to be massively impacted by the economy and what the economy is doing because they have millions upon millions of customers. And when, they're all being impacted in the same way, right, you're going to see a significant drop. Like those companies are following the economy. So it's like if the economy is down, those companies' stocks are down, right? Their revenue might be down. However, as small businesses, we only need 20 customers, 100 customers, 1,000 customers. You can go find those 1,000 customers, right? It is still possible to get those 1,000 customers that you usually get every year. So to think that because a Fortune 500 company is being impacted, that you as a small business owner have to be impacted the same way is just false, right? And sometimes we are taking what's happening in the economy, we're listening to the talking heads on news, and we're making that mean that our business is down. And then if we have that belief, then we're taking action to make that belief true, right? Like, I'm not going to spend the money that I used to spend on marketing because I don't believe I'm going to get customers, right? I'm not going to do the same social media marketing, or I'm not going to offer the same programming that I did the previous year when I made a ton of money because I don't think anyone's going to buy it. And therefore, I'm not going to sell that thing. And therefore, your revenue is going to take a hit, right? And so is it the economy or are you just making broke-ass decisions? Okay? And so for those of you who don't know what a broke-ass decision is, there's a little book called We Should All Be Millionaires that defines it. So let's talk about it. So a broke-ass decision is one that steals your time and energy, right? I'm not going to hire right now. I'm not going to invest in this thing, right? Stealing your time and energy. It's one that depletes mental space, right? So if you think the economy is terrible and you're down in the dumps, now you're feeling just like low energy and you're not excited and you're not motivated about growing your business. It increases the piddly shit and prioritizes it above your greatest desires. So are you allowing the thought of inflation and allowing the thought that the economy is bad to make you not even try to go do the things that you want to do and go build what you want to build with your business, right? I'm not even going to put that offer out. I'm not even going to do that marketing. I'm not even going to put that effort in because I know it's going to fail, right? You're allowing something that somebody on the news told you to make it mean that your business is dead out of the water, right? Like it's not even worth trying. Broke-ass decisions also make you feel weak, insecure, and trapped, okay? So are you allowing yourself to feel like, I'm trapped in a business that's not going to work because the economy is what it is. I'm feeling weak and powerless and like I have no option to change my situation just simply because the economy is what it is and I have no choice in the matter. Not true. The economy can be bad and you still have agency, you still have options. And then a broke-ass decision also eliminates options rather than creating them, right? So instead of saying, okay, in this economy, what are people looking for right now? What's a new offer I could create that meets my customer exactly where they're at in this moment? What's a new promotion I could do? What's a cool new offer I could try? What's a new marketing strategy I could try that will address people's needs and meet my ideal client right where they're at today? Instead of asking that and creating new options for your business, you're eliminating options and saying, I'm not going to try this, I'm not going to try that, I'm not going to try anything because it's all going to fail. That is literally, as you have heard it here, the definition of a broke-ass decision. And so when we believe that things are bad and when we're listening to negativity all the time, because of that negativity, because we think, oh, it's an election year, I'm never going to break through the noise, so there's no point in trying to market myself. Like, we can make up any number of stories about why we can't be successful today. Or we could make $1 million decision and decide we're going to be successful regardless of what is going on in the world, right? And so $1 million decision is one that creates time and energy, frees up mental space, reduces the piddly shit, and creates space for the stuff that matters to you, allows you to feel strong, secure, and free, and creates options instead of eliminating options. And so those are the kinds of decisions that I want to encourage you to make right now in this economy today, right? You can decide that it's all over and there's no point in trying, or you can decide that I'm going to win no matter what, okay? It's me against whatever. It's me against this economy. It's me against these challenges. It's me against whatever's going on in the world. And I intend to win, and I'm going to act like I'm going to win, right? And I'm going to show up like I'm going to win, all right? Now, there's another book. If you want to take some $1 million action, here's another workbook that will help you, okay? The companion workbook to We Should All Be Millionaires will help you take some action, some $1 million action, and start making some $1 million decisions, okay? But how do you run a business in this economy? What is actually going on? Why are business owners acting like it's over, right? Why are you quitting, or why are you feeling weak and like there's no options here? And I will tell you what I think it is. Here's why business owners think they can't make it happen right now. If you started your business in 2020, or if you just enjoyed the uptick and the economic growth that took place in 2020 till 2022, then you are confused about what it is like to really run a business, right? I started my business back during the 2008 recession. I started in 2010, and I had to work for every client that came in the door. And marketing looked a little different. I think some of us are spoiled by the boom times that COVID created, right? From 2020 to 2022. And we expect money to just fall from the sky into our small business bank accounts. And it did do that. In 2020 to 2022, it was doing that. It was lovely. Money was falling from the sky. It felt very easy to sell. Everybody was home and paying attention to your marketing, right? And, people had excess capital. There was also PPP loans and other incentives from the government that were putting more money in people's pockets, right? And so that's what was going on during that time. If you enjoyed those times, good on you, right? Like, you were poised, you were ready, or you were smart enough to start a business during that time, and you enjoyed probably significant profits during those years. Hopefully you still have some of those profits, and you have those and some of that in savings. This is the key to small business, right? Like, there are going to be good times and there are going to be times that are not as good. And so what do? When business is booming, you got to take a portion of what you're earning and the excess capital that you have coming in, the excess profits that you have, and you put some of that up and you save it for when the economy is down. But you now, because you saved some of that, you still have capital to hire people. You still have capital for marketing, right? And your business is going to weather the storm and survive whatever challenges are happening. That is the approach that you need to take as a business owner, because there are going to be ups and downs. I have been in business for 14 years now. And so I've seen good economies and bad economies, and I've made money in both. So it is not just because there's, a challenging economy or inflation is happening or a recession may be coming, does not automatically mean you have to go out of business. What it means is it's going to be harder. Right? So, during the 2008 recession or 2010, when I started my business, every customer that I got, I had to work for. I had to do more marketing. I had to do sales calls. There was a lot more effort required to acquire one customer. And so that is what I'm accustomed to. That is the work I expect to put in. Now, if it's easier than that, great. That's gravy, right? In 2020, we had 1,200 new customers in a single month. That happened, right? So massive, massive growth, which of course also comes with its own challenges, because sometimes your business is growing faster than you can hire and that you can build support and systems to be able to support all those clients. And so that can be a challenge too. But that's what was happening in 2020. And now it's not like that anymore. Does that mean you're out of business? No, it means you got to put more effort in, right? These are the kinds of times in this kind of economy is the kind of times where consumers are being more choosy. They're shopping around more. They're slower to make decisions because, right, if you have tons of excess capital, it's easy to just make a decision and drop $5,000, $500, $50, whatever your product costs. It's easy to drop that when you've got a coffers full, right? But when you've got less capital to work with, you're going to be a little bit more choosy about your decision making. You might be a little bit slower to make the choice, right? So it might be that, from the time that a customer learns about you and experiences your marketing to the time that they actually, pay the money might be a little bit longer, right? That's all that means. It doesn't mean that they're no longer buying. People are buying stuff. As, my friend said, who runs the merchant account company, clearly all of these small businesses are still making significant amounts of money. And some are making more than they made previously. But it's because they're just willing to adapt to the environment that they're in. And that's what you have to do as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, right? So now is your opportunity to really become a real business owner, right? Like during the pandemic was business owner light, okay? Like it was an easier environment to build a business in, and good for you for starting then. But understand that this is also part of the entrepreneurial journey, right? Like economic downturns are something that you are going to experience again and again if you grow your business for decades, right? Which I hope that you do. And so that means that you got to prepare for those downtimes. It also means that you got to be somebody who knows like, okay, it's old school rules now, right? We got economic downturn rules. So now our marketing needs to look a little differently. Now we need to create more content every day. Now we need to be, maybe cold calling customers and doing some outreach to customers. Now maybe we need to do some live events or go on tour or do more webinars or do more things to get in front of our customers so we have more touch points to build trust with them. Maybe they need to see more testimonials, more reviews of our products and services so that we can build that trust so that they're ready to part with, the money that they have right now. Okay, so that's what it means. So it just means that if you want to thrive in this environment, your marketing is just going to require a little bit more time. So instead of saying, I have a new program and I'm giving myself 2 weeks to fill it, maybe you want to give yourself 6 weeks to fill it now, or even 8 weeks to fill it now. Now you're giving yourself longer lead time for the marketing because it's taking longer for people to make decisions. Okay. And you need more of those touch points. Now, before you used to do a webinar and people would drop $5,000 on a webinar. Now, instead of just doing the webinar, you're going to have people apply on the webinar and then they're going to get a sales call. That way they can get all their questions answered. And now they're like, okay, now I feel comfortable. Now I'll spend the money. So customers are still willing to spend. But are you willing to put the effort in to build that trust with them in this environment right now? That is the question, right? Are you willing to make $1 million decision, adapt to the environment, shift your marketing? Maybe you need to launch a podcast, right? Maybe you need to have a YouTube channel. Maybe you just need to create more content every day on Instagram or TikTok or whatever your favorite platform is so that you can build that relationship with your customers so that they still want to buy from you in this environment. Okay. So that's what's required. So you need to adapt and you need to have longer lead times for your marketing. Okay. The other thing that you need to do is really look at the expenses, look at your business and do an assessment. This is one of the things that we do at Hello7 with our customers is we do an assessment of their company. We're looking at your team. We're looking at your offers. We're looking at what's selling right now. We're looking at your marketing. What is your marketing costs? And so like really doing an audit of the business to say, where are we at right now? What are we spending right now? What's necessary? What's unnecessary? What are our best sellers right now? So like maybe previously you had, a program or a service that was 12 months long that sold like hotcakes. And now people are not feeling the commitment, right? And so maybe now you need to have a 6-week program or a 3-month program or, a shorter offer that gives people an intro and then maybe they're ready for the 12-month thing, right? So like, are you willing to adapt your offers? So you want to do an audit of the business and look at it as a whole and see where are we spending money that we don't need to spend, right? Like, because when we were all drunk with cash from 2020 to 2022, we were saying yes to every service. We were buying all the things. We were hiring all the people, right, to keep up with the growth, which is beautiful. But now let's pause. This is an opportunity, okay? It's an opportunity to slow down and say, let's take stock of what's been working and what's not working, and let's adjust our business model, make some tweaks so that we can thrive in the environment we're in today. That does not mean fire everybody. I'm also not saying cut every cost. I don't think that is the right decision for every business. And in fact, I would say, if you have a great team that you have worked hard to train, the last thing that I would want to do is lay off people. The last thing that I would want to do is cut costs at every corner. Because remember, that's a broke-ass decision, right? It's causing you to contract and it's taking away your options. So that's not necessarily the right thing to do. But the point is, do an audit and notice, where are we spending money that we're not getting a return, right? If your Facebook ads used to work like hotcakes and now they're not working, cut it and instead invest in organic marketing, right? Or some other type of marketing that is working now. Maybe instead of doing, live events that you used to always do that are very costly and people don't want to spend the money to travel, maybe now do those events virtually so people can participate from home and the only cost is the ticket instead of also needing a hotel and travel, right? Like, adapt to the market that you're in. So audit your business, notice where you're spending money, where you're not getting a return, and cut those things. Cut agencies that aren't delivering for you. If you've got contractors on the team that are working on projects that no longer are thriving right now, put those contracts on pause, right, as you're able to, and just cut anything that is not generating a return. Don't cut everything, because now you're going to be in a position when the economy is booming again. You don't have the team, you don't have the manpower or the ability to grow your business, right? So we're not saying do a free for all and just slash. That's what most people do, and they do it out of fear. And that's not going to be strategic. It's not going to set you up for the future. And it's definitely not going to set you up for growing your business. Because the other thing that report from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce said is that the businesses that have the bigger teams are making a lot more money, right? So the team drives revenue. The more hands you have to do the work, as long as they're working on the right things, revenue generating things, then the more revenue you're going to have. So cutting the team is not always the right solution. And so you want to do an audit and really take a look at your P&L, take a look at, your programs. Are people logging in? Take a look at the services you're selling. How long are people sticking around? Are people ending their retainers early? Like, really dig in and get some data points to help you understand what's happening in the business, and then use your instincts and make smart decisions, okay? And if you need help, Hello 7 is here for you. So join our list. You could check out my $1 Million Vision Retreat that's coming up. ROI is a conference that's coming up. And we have some other ways that you can work with us as well. So just send us an inquiry and we'll do what we can to help you if you want some professional help with deciding, how to run your business during this time. So the first thing you're going to do, as I mentioned, is, look at your marketing, right? And understand you're going to need more lead time, more touch points, and adapt your marketing to this environment. The second thing you're going to do is do an audit of the business. Cut anything that can be cut. Cut anything that is not delivering a return. If you're a part of a program or a mentorship, or you're getting education that is really helping you to keep a positive mindset, stay focused, get new clients, etc., do not cut that. Cut the things that aren't delivering for you. Don't cut the things that are, okay? And then the last thing that I want you to do is shift your mindset. Okay. So this means you got to call what you're listening to. Stop listening to the news. Stop listening to negativity from your friends, right? Like stop allowing what's going on in the world to make you feel like you can't make it happen right now and your business is not going to grow. Instead, feed yourself positivity. You're listening to this podcast. That's a start. What other good things can you listen to? Listen to some great audiobooks, right? Always have something positive in your ears to keep you focused during this time, okay? And then the last thing I would say is set new goals and continue to set your ambitious goals and ask yourself, what can I do? How can I get creative to hit these goals? What could I do differently to help my customer understand that they still need me, they still need my service or my product, even in this environment. And really spend the time thinking that through and delivering on that promise. If you do those 4 things, your business is going to continue to thrive and exist throughout this economy, right? And, sometimes it's just survive until 25, right? That's something that I've heard friends say. But I even think that, that idea of survival, when we just work to survive, we're going to set different goals than the goals that we'll set when we're willing to thrive, when we're trying to thrive. And trust me, I have friends and clients and, who are thriving right now in this environment. So you can be one of them. It's just about making $1 million decisions instead of broke-ass decisions because of the economy and what it's doing right now. Okay. So I want to encourage you, keep marching towards those goals. Keep investing in yourselves in the right and strategic ways. Take stock of where you're wasting money and cut those things for sure. And give yourself more time for your marketing and put more effort into connecting with your customer. That's all that this environment is asking you for right now. And you will see that you can continue to thrive in your business. All right. And your number one job as a business owner and as a CEO is to not run out of money. So if you can just ensure that you keep making the money that you need to make to keep going, right? And then keep giving yourself time and runway to figure it out. Try new things. This is an opportunity to be creative. There are plenty of new millionaires made every time there's an economic downturn. So look for the opportunity that is there. I hope this is helpful for you. And thank you for joining me for another episode of the Hello 7 podcast.
Hello 7, I wanted to talk to you about your $1 million vision for your business. As the CEO and founder of your company, you are responsible for coming up with a vision for your business, and not just any vision, $1 million vision. If you're feeling stuck in your CEO journey and ready to accept expert coaching in a beautiful environment, then I want you to apply to go on a retreat with my sister and CEO of Hello 7, Rachel Rodgers, from August 27th through the 29th. Connect with Rachel Rodgers and an intimate group of power players at the Hartwell House in the Berkshires. Get hours of group coaching with Rachel and enjoy the inspiring mountain views and crisp, clean air of Great Barrington, Massachusetts. Interested? Go to rachelrodgers.com/MDV for more info. See you there.